Hey, we got an email from one of you to one of our executive producers, Greg Todoroff, about a company called ESS Inc. ESS. And the gentleman's name, who's the CEO of the company, his name is Eric Dresselhuys. Eric Dresselhuys runs this company. And by the way, they are publicly traded under the stock symbol GWH. And they are in the business of long duration energy storage. Now, I'm not sure if that means, because I think one of the problems with solar at one point was sun shines, grab solar, what happens to the energy after? I'm not sure if that's this, but the question of energy storage has been around for some time. And what's interesting is that these guys are taking it square on and solving the problem. And of course, as a publicly traded company, trying to make it profitable. Eric, great to have you along. Welcome to the Big Biz Show. And let's talk about this. First of all, is that Ryan Reynolds? That looks like Ryan
That's a good-looking guy right there.
That is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Loved your work in Deadpool, Eric. Loved it. Listen,
there you go.
I have to ask you, is the energy storage business, is that a solar question, or is that just an overall top-down solution that we have to resolve for all energy?
Well, it's a little bit of both, Sully. And first off, thanks for having me. Clearly, what's driving the business today is renewables. As we move to higher and higher levels of renewable penetration, you've got that problem you mentioned. The sun sets on a nightly basis, the wind blows a lot, but not consistently. And we all want an electricity system that's reliable 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But it's become more than that. You're in California, you've got things like power safety shutoffs with wildfires. And so people want resiliency on a localized basis to ensure that they have power when they need it. And if you look at what's happening in Europe now, it's also getting tied up in energy security. How do you get off of Russian oil? Well, you shut down gas-fired peaker plants, but you do that with solar plus storage to create a reliable system.
I think what's interesting about this is if you think in terms of environmental impact, like wildfire. Environmental impact sometimes doesn't have anything to do with green energy. Sometimes it has to do with just saving the environment with respect to wildfires. It seems like you guys hit a roadblock every time you resolve something. There's some sort of other malady that happens to us, like the state of California is a great example. Wildfire, especially in the city of San Diego, where we broadcast from. I mean, it is a fair problem whereby we plan every year, especially where I live, to lose power for a half a day on a regular basis. So I've got a duplicative system here at the studio and at home, so I can broadcast anywhere, just because you never know who's going to have power. Let's talk about the power issue now, because you mentioned not just solar power, but you also mentioned what I guess we would call traditional power. At one point, Germany was the league leader in solar power. And, I don't know who second was, but I remember that's where the concentration was of solar power. Has solar power taken a better bite out of here in the U.S.? Because it was like solar power was popular, then it was not popular, then it got some bad press, and then it seems like it's on the rise again. What's the status currently of that renewable energy source?
No, you're right. It's very much on the rise. And, California is a great example, but you can go to places like Australia, New Zealand, have huge renewable and primarily solar in that case penetration. Other parts of the country have renewables, but it's not solar as much as it is wind. So Texas is a good example of that. Huge amount of wind in Texas. And by the way, just so you don't think it's a coastal thing, states like Iowa have huge renewable penetration now, all driven by wind.
Eric, talk about what you guys are doing there at ESS, because the long duration energy storage market is going to go nuts over the next 10 years. If you follow the flow of renewable energy, it has to. So talk about what are you guys up to?
You have to get it. And so really, our company was founded trying to solve two problems simultaneously. The first is, how do we have longer duration storage? So there has been storage. Lithium is the energy storage most people would be familiar with. But lithium at a grid scale kind of at most gets you about 4 hours. 2 to 4 hours is about the range. And that's just not enough if you're going to build this resilient system with renewables. But the second part of it was lithium, and you're reading a lot more about this in the last weeks and months. All of this reliance on rare earth minerals, whether it's lithium or cobalt or nickel, which is all from the Soviet Union, and you guys probably followed what happened in the nickel market. It kind of went nuts.
Yeah.
We looked at it and said, how do you get something that's more earth abundant, more broadly available that we can build here in America, And so we build a battery that's called an iron flow battery, which uses iron, salt, and water. So we have no reliance on rare earth minerals. We can build it all here in the US and deliver it across the country and really around the world. So we go for kind of 8 to 12 hour durations. And when you pair 12 hours of sunshine with 12 hours of battery, you get a 24-hour system.
Yeah, exactly. His name is Eric Dresselhuys. He is the CEO of a company called ESS Incorporated. GWH is their stock symbol, but you can go to their website. Their website, of course, is essinc.com. Where are you guys at? Talk about what you guys are most excited about over the next 18 months for your company, because obviously the next 10 years, future looks bright, but talk about what's short term for you guys.
Yeah, well, we're excited about as we're shipping more and more product now, getting those use cases out in the market. Like anything in infrastructure, people like to see it out working. So we're getting a great response to the product, and we're excited to do more. We're also starting over the next couple of quarters to ship globally. So we've got projects in Europe and other places in as I said, in Southeast Asia. So this is kind of different than a lot of things in renewables, where foreign companies are the dominant players.
Well, here he comes. Eric, I hope you'll join us again. Really interesting stuff. Haven't had a discussion on renewable energy for a long time, especially the question of storing the renewable energy. All right.